May I have your attention, please? The podcast World Awakenings, the fast track to enlightenment, is now on the air. May I have your attention, please? The podcast World Awakenings is now on the air.
This is World Awakenings, the fast track to enlightenment with your host, Karl Gruber. World Awakenings is a podcast dedicated to opening your mind, your heart, and your eyes to the fact that the world's population is now, more than ever, awakening to all things metaphysical and spiritual, and just how they play an all-important role in our daily life. So join Karl on this enlightening experience as he interviews metaphysical and spiritual experts to discuss, debate, and delve deeply into the hows and whys of this worldwide awakening.
You are invited to the I Am Retreat, February 18th through the 22nd, 2022 in New Orleans, Louisiana. Come join the experienced True Clear Trance channel, Carol Collins, for an entire weekend where you will be immersed in channeled guidance on who source beings are, why you are having a physical life experience, how life experience has shaped you, and what you can do about it. In addition, there is round-the-clock source healing to remove energy blocks that are stopping you from becoming who you were meant to be. Chakra cleansing is done by the master healers known as Yeshua, and clear unhealthy beliefs that are stored in the root chakra. Healing the root is the primary focus of the weekend's activities and why Yeshua named it the I Am Retreat. That's the I Am Retreat, February 18th through 22nd, 2022 in New Orleans with the Pittsburgh medium Carol Collins. Just go to the website, thepittsburghmedium.com, and click on the I Am Retreat header for more information. Space is limited, so check it out today. Hey everyone, welcome to yet another awesome episode of this podcast, World Awakenings, the fast track to enlightenment, in which we feature the master teachers, authors, icons of all things spiritual, enlightening, and metaphysical. The mission of this podcast is to find out why now, more than ever, the people of the world are awakening to all things spiritual, enlightening, and metaphysical. Now, before we move forward with today's special guest, please take a moment to click that subscribe button below so that you never miss a single episode of this show. With that in mind, I can tell you with total certainty that I am absolutely thrilled to welcome our guest, Eleni Yiambilis. Eleni is the co-founder of Kalyteros.life. That is Kalyteros.life if you go to the website. And she has found her true passion as a motivational speaker who uses her skills as a certified life and manifestation coach and thought process consultant to empower others. I love that title, thought process consultant. Now, utilizing her expertise in the field and strength of her personal story, she creates a steady stream of programs to help people shatter limits and attract the lives that they have always dreamed of. Her mission is to show people that with defined vision and applied belief, they can literally wake their dreams and live their most fulfilling lives. A survivor of difficult road tainted by multiple forms of addiction, childhood abuse, and domestic violence, Eleni has learned to take painful life situations, apply gratitude and service to identify the blessings and facilitate growth and forgiveness. Through fine-tuning the thought process from fear-based to faith-based, she has developed programs to assist others to achieve the same freedom. And over 10 years of experience as a Reiki practitioner, a crystal healer, she believes and teaches others how to attract their most vibrant, fulfilling life. And she also offers Reiki and life coaching to victims and assists in the shelter in fundraising efforts. A well-known trainer in her area, Eleni has a true passion for fitness and enjoys utilizing the outdoors to help others. I love that. That is a great, you are amazing. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Truth be told to my audience here, Eleni and I have known each other for a couple months now, and we've communicated a lot. And we have a person here who's the real deal. She is a beacon of light. And Eleni, I've got to talk to you about this. It sure sounds like you've had quite a ride growing up and getting to the beautiful place you are right now. Would you care to share some of your amazing personal story on how you got where you're at now?
Absolutely. Carl, when I think about it, it's just been an accumulation of experiences, of learning, and each segment of my life, I feel like a different level of awakening, a different level of evolution came to be, awareness and understanding. So, you mentioned addiction. I don't often identify, too much to the past anymore. I don't really bring it up a lot because I feel like when we go back there all the time, we're giving that pain permission to live on, where we're taking away precious moments of today. But when in situations like this, I like to share it to inspire, because we're not stuck. So I was homeless and addicted and living in my Jeep, and I decided, I just came out of a really, really rough situation, that I would use something that I remember learning with my mother. She had this little book. It was called The Secret. And we used to talk about it. And there was something in there about gratitude journaling. So I'm kind of, cut off from my family at this point, or not by their doing, but just too much shame. I was dealing with a lot of low vibration feelings at that time in my life. And I start with this gratitude journal, just finding things to be grateful for. It was me and my cat. I had one Led Zeppelin tape.
Yeah.
It was Led Zeppelin 2 on cassette tape. And that tape made my gratitude list every single day. Yeah. Every day. That and the cat made my list every day. And what I can tell you is, in under 2 years' time, within a year, my life had completely transformed. Within 2 years, I was jet setting around the country, speaking on stages, with subjects that I had no formal background in, but I just had passion. I had passion for fitness and nutrition. Once everything started to kind of turn around, even when I was getting sober, when I was getting clean and I was gratitude journaling, I could always work out. Fitness was free. I could go to a park. I could do push-ups. I could jump up and down on the benches. I could run, and it made me feel good. It made me feel alive. It made me feel worthy, worthwhile. My physical vessel, I had more appreciation for it. So all this came together. I mean, within under 2 years, now I'm working for $1 billion food company.
Wow.
Flying all over the place, speaking in front of thousands of people about stuff I love. And it's at this point that I realized I really like to inspire people. Like, I like to help people understand things, just simple things about the food that they eat, and nutrition in their bodies, and how it works, and how, quite honestly, everything we need comes up from the ground. Everything we need is already here for us, and it really how to use what I just call God-given, what's God-given to us to live our healthiest lives. So fast forward, I'm having this awesome career. Life is good. My father always owned bars and restaurants. So I always kept side gigs, bartending. I just liked it. It's fun. It's social. I'm sober. I don't drink, but I just liked it. I like music. I like people. I just like the atmosphere. For me, that was my socializing, right? And it kind of, I fell in love, and I found myself in a situation, another toxic situation. And we'll get to that later, how I identify all this. I'm like, found myself in I would say we'll call it toxic. It's toxic. And I made a bold move that with $200 and my daughter, we're going. So we did. I took a leap of faith, and I got that beer bottle opener out of dusted it off out of the drawer, and I'm bartending, and it was great because I could watch my daughter during the day and work at night. And I wasn't missing any what I thought were precious moments because she was sleeping. But and I'm like, I'm doing this, and it's good. I'm making good money, and I'm like, let me get back to what I did years ago. This time, let's expand it. So I get back to that gratitude journal. So I get back to that gratitude journal. I was like, what do I like to do? And I was like, I want to help people understand that the law of attraction is real, that it really does work. I want to coach people in understanding this. And within a year from that, I end up in, when I tell you divine channels opened up to make this happen, I end up in this internationally best-selling book called Women Who Illuminate, where I share my story. I share my story about surviving domestic violence and addiction. And the book was filled. She didn't reply to me until months later. A fluke spot opened up. Something had just happened where I had the exact amount of money to cover publishing costs to be in this. The universe lined it up because there's no other way. The deadline was November. She didn't find my email until January, and she had one spot left.
Wow.
And it was like, I forget how much it was at the time, a few $100s, but I had that extra. It was miraculous the way it lined up. And because of that opened all kinds of new doors. Now I'm speaking again. I'm traveling all over the world. I'm speaking in London. I'm all over the place, and I love it. I love what I'm talking about. I'm helping people realize that they can shatter limits by changing their mindset, changing what they believe is possible. Now we get to a point here, and I'm like, okay, all of these great things are happening. Why am I still opening beers? Like, why am I doing this? Where's the change happening, right? Where's the complete shift? When am I going to be able to fully dive into this? And I had a mentor, and he gave me quite possibly the best gift I've ever received in my life. And that was a past life regression. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to find out who I was in another life. Cool. I'm certain I was an Egyptian goddess. I'm certain of it. So I'm really excited for this. I wasn't expecting what it really entailed. I was guided by my higher self. I met my higher self, and something happened in that day. And those of you might be aware with heart math, heart, mind, heart coherence, right. The heart center, the power of the heart, my heart ignited for the first time in my whole life. And I heard, just quit, take a leap. And I said, okay. So I had never felt more alive. I didn't know what the plan was, but I knew that I was turning in my 2 weeks. So I go and I put in my 2 weeks notice, and I decide that, there was an opportunity presented to me. I didn't know when it was going to pan out, but until then, I just decided that the universe would take care of me, and that God had not led me through all the things I've been through to this moment to go down some dark, no end path, that this had to be a blessing for my highest good. It had to be. There was no other choice. And the universe would provide for me, and it certainly did. I decided that I would learn how to meditate. Meditation always seemed like this weird thing that people did. They, like Zaza Zen for hours humming. And I didn't, but after my regression, I thought, well, maybe meditation isn't like that. Maybe I should try. Mm-hmm. So I started meditating. I started to discover new teachers. Abraham Hicks, I'm going to say, played a tremendous role in helping to awaken me and the way that I thought about things. Mm-hmm. Dr. Joe Dispenza, for some reason, I was very drawn to him, started listening to him. So I'm praying every day. I'm just spending time in nature. I'm meditating. Magic money is showing up by the thousands. I can't really say it was anything other than God and miracles. Inheritances past, a year and a half ago, like all of a sudden showing up that I didn't even know were coming to me. Just strange things, wow. Yeah. And I'm just learning all this stuff. And I get this call from a woman I went to high school with, and she was aware that I had done Reiki, and her 19-year-old son was in a traumatic car accident. He had traumatic brain injury, 19 years old. He was in a coma, most of the bones shattered in his body. And she wanted to know if I would come to Cooper University and do Cooper Trauma Center and do Reiki on him. I said, I'll come. I said, and I will share energy with him. I said, but we're going to try something different. I thought, well, this is a great time to start applying what I've been learning. Dr. Joe Dispenza, for those of you who aren't familiar, really, he's in the documentary Heal. Supernatural is one of his most popular works. Or Becoming Supernatural. He healed his own spine, literally laid in a hospital bed, or actually, and healed his own body, denied certain treatments and surgeries, and healed his own body using his mind through the power of visualization. So I thought to myself, I've been learning about this. There's a reason I'm learning about this. Tyler's in a coma. I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to talk to him every day. We're going to refire up all the pathways in his brain. We're going to refire up his body. I mean, the doctors weren't giving his mother a very good, outlook for the future. I told her, you don't have to believe anything somebody tells you. You believe in Tyler and you believe in miracles.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tyler, who was supposed to be, pretty much immobile for the rest of his life, is 21 now. He's living a very normal 21-year-old life. He came out of the coma quickly and recovered far more quickly than further than anyone had anticipated. He can drive, he can walk, he can do everything a 21-year-old can do. Plays his guitar.
So you did a combination of Reiki and speaking positive motivational thoughts and energy to him along.
Yeah, and walking him through the process. I made recordings for him. And I'll jump into something else in a second, but I made recordings for him in which we rebuilt his brain. Tyler, I want you to imagine energy traveling up your spine. I want you to imagine your brain looking like a circuit. I want you to imagine every single circuit firing up. This is your brain responding. I want you to imagine the circuit lighting up down your spine. The nerves in your arms are part of the circuit, and things like that, like just rebuilding. Because I thought, well, there's this access to his subconscious mind right now. And so he would listen to that all the time. And even after he came out of the coma, he would listen to these things.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that Reiki is very powerful, and I can share energy with you. I believe that we all have the ability to tap into the energy that's always flowing around us. So my energy was just fueling, giving him a little extra gas, a little boost to what he was already doing.
I just got to jump in here for a moment. My viewers and my listeners, I'm sure it's very obvious how passionate you are about what you've done, and your story of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps from homelessness and addiction and abusive relationships to where you're at, is proof that there is no order of difficulty in miracles, and that with the faith and where you direct your thoughts, we always say thoughts become things. That was in the movie in The Secret. What's his name? Mike Dooley stated that in The Secret.
Yeah.
Dr. Dispenza was also in The Secret too. But what you are telling, you are walking proof that it is doable, and everything that you live right now, you are proof of all this. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Something I want to elaborate on with Tyler's story is that I'm every day now learning how to meditate. I'm starting to feel like I'm getting guided to things. I'm starting to feel this guidance, and that feeling, that awakening I had during the regression, that was a high like I've done it all. That was a high like I'd never had, and I was chasing that high, man. So when I would hit my knees in the morning, that high would come back. And one day I said, Father, God, what am I to do? How can I best help Tyler? He says to me, you are not the healer. You are the coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew just what that meant. We are all capable of healing. He just needed someone to help him see it.
Yeah.
So that's where the recordings came in. And it's funny when we talk about my past and we talk about the story, knowing what I know now, my passion now, I'm really, really tuned into the universal laws and intention setting. Intention setting is the game changer, in my opinion. It's where what I'm really passionate about, helping people understand. But when I after I went through this awakening, and I've worked with Tyler, and things are, my whole life is just amazing now, and I'm learning about universal laws. They're fascinating to me. I'm discovering new teachers. Connie Mendez, Florence Scovel-Shinn. I'm understanding metaphysics, Neville Goddard, deeper level law of attraction type stuff. And I'm like, okay, if all this is true, let me put on my big girl pants of accountability. How did I attract abusive relationships?
Uh-huh.
How did I end up in these situations?
Mhm.
Not to be angry with myself, but just to really take that bird's eye look, right? Take yourself out of the victim role. This is so freeing. This is so liberating. One of the most liberating aha moments I ever had was pulling myself up, looking down at that time in my life and saying, I mean, I've always been interested in angels and crystals since I was a teenager. I'm a nice person. I've always been a kind-hearted person. How did this happen? And I looked, we'll use, for example, the toxic relationships. I was always critical of myself. And those little voices that loop through your head all the time, the ones that tell you you're not good enough, you're not doing well enough, you should have achieved more by now, you're too fat, you're too this, you're too that. That little voice, that's creating. It's creating. The universe doesn't decipher between, oh, she's just having some negative self-talk, so we won't pick that up. We'll leave that. No, it's still a vibration that's emanating. And those thousands of thoughts that you're thinking like that are attracting for you. So here I am thinking constantly about how I'm not good enough and this isn't right and I could do better at that, being critical of my body, almost to the point at some points in my life it would be considered abusive, not eating enough or overusing fitness in a negative way. And those are the times in my life when I attracted critical, abusive people.
You're vibrating in a negative energetic place, and by law of attraction, more was sent to you.
Yes. And it wasn't that I was being critical or abusive to other people, because that's where I wasn't making that distinction. You know what I mean? Well, I wasn't mean to anybody. I was mean to myself.
Yes, exactly.
Self-love. That's where it's at. All the cool kids are doing it. Self-love. If you're listening, love yourself, and nothing but good things will come to you.
Wow. This is just amazing. I've got to ask you, because I'm so interested in this. Tell us about Kalyteros, your website in the 12-week manifestation program. And what exactly does Kalyteros mean?
It means the best. Kalyteros is the Greek word for the best. So I have a partner, Dave. He's great. He's like the tech mogul of it all, but also has an understanding of the universal laws like I do. So all of us, it kind of came to me one day as I'm looking through some Connie Mendez and Florence Scovel Shinn that it's bigger than the law of attraction. There are other laws, you have the law of correspondence. Mm-hmm. Your inner world reflects out, kind of, again, going with those inner thoughts that you're thinking are reflecting in your outer world. There's the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. And I just like to say that one. That's why I had to throw it in there. No, but you can literally take energy. So let's just say, you've had a bad day. If something didn't go the way you wanted, you can use a technique called revision. Neville Goddard made that very, very popular. But energy cannot be destroyed, but it can be flipped to its polar opposite. So you have anger and joy are the same vibration, but different frequencies, different polarities of the same vibration. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you can flip an energy. You can correct energy. I feel like everyone should know about this, So, life happens. So we get learning how to think better and more loving thoughts. We're all here to heal our own lives. And the more understanding that we have of these 12 laws, the more we can stand in our power as deliberate creators. Mm-hmm. We're meant to be deliberate creators. You can you can achieve anything you want to. You just have to align with it in the right way, You get what you think about. You get what you think about. And there are laws that govern the universe, and they are absolute. They are all work just as powerfully as the law of attraction. They work in sync with the law of attraction. So.
Wow, that is phenomenal. And you are so right about all of that stuff. And, I also like, you talked about this at the very beginning. You made a big difference in your world. Journaling. I actually wrote and had published in 2019 a book called Dream Big, a 5-minute goal setting journal that I wrote and on Althea Press. But so I really appreciate it. But why is it journaling? Where is the power from? Just simply by setting the intention, by writing it down and then providing the powerful emotion?
I think that with journaling, what happens, I know for me, is it's almost like being in a low resistance state, right? You're letting things flow. And so if there's anything that needs to come out, it can come out, and it can be looked at in a more gentle way. But it's a powerful time. So my journaling looks different every day. Mm-hmm. Some days it's just me. I will, I make my intention settings in the morning. I just believe so much in the power of setting intention throughout the day, many, many times. But sometimes when I'm journaling, I'll redo that. And then I give myself permission. I give myself permission to receive the love of the universe. That's why I set intentions. I give myself permission to receive these things. Sometimes I'll just start scripting. Wouldn't it be nice? Get into that. Yeah. I get into revisiting some. It works as a technique where you have scripted out exactly what you want to manifest. So I'll reread that and maybe elaborate on one of them, like a day in the life of that. Just kind of play around with that. Sometimes I just journal about what God is to me. God is presence and intelligence and harmony. What is harmony? Sometimes I'll do appreciation for, a specific person in my life, and I'll point out all the things I really like about them, positive attributes. Journaling can be a tool to work through something negative, and it can be a tool to enhance something positive already going. If you're feeling a little burned up about somebody, and you sit down and you take the time to point out the things that you do like. You point out the things that you do like, the gratitude that you do have for someone, and you realize that, you take that time to separate and say, everyone, I have this outlook that everyone comes into the world the same way, we all come in the world as perfect little babies. Mm-hmm. Every one of them. I want you to think about any child under 1 year old, right? They're all kind of the same. Happy, loving, trusting, fearless. I'm going to touch that outlet, I'm going to walk on the edge of this counter.
Moving.
I'm going to jump off this high couch, and I don't know where I'm going.
Oh, wait, I did that yesterday.
But they're all the same. Fearless, happy, love. They are still, they're not conditioned to be limited or hurtful. Something happens in somebody's life to make them the way they are. If they're a critical person or a mean person, something happened along the way. And we can find compassion. Everyone's just here to heal their own lives. You'll hear me say that time and time again. So when we look at it like, wonder what happened to them and that made them this way, and then look at our own lives. Like, am I completely free of what I'll call sin? Sin is thinking that it's being anything other than godly for godliness, love, compassion, all the time, patience, all the time, harmony. Oh, no.
Wow, your daughter has a really cool mom, as a great model. You're a great role model for your daughter.
Thank you.
She's going to be awesome. So, I want to go back to just a little bit ago. You were talking about how we can turn our energy and reshape it. And as a law of attraction life coach myself, and I use this quite a bit with my clients, is there's a simple little process. And if you studied Abraham Hicks, you know this, it's called pivoting. And what that means is on the spot, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, if you catch yourself thinking a thought or speaking words that aren't in alignment with what you really want, or in a negative vibrating place, you can on the spot pivot 180 degrees and decide. You can choose the opposite, say the opposite, what you really want in that moment. And as simple as maybe being in line in the convenience store at the 7-Eleven, and you're trying to pay for gas and you need to get going, and the clerk is on the phone and there's 6 people in front of you, you can get angry and everything, but you can stop and say, all right, she's doing the best she can. And you start thinking, we'll get through there. It's no big, and all of a sudden, bam, the line starts falling. So yes, you can shape and change your energy on the spot by choice. Become, and I love that term, deliberate creator.
Thank you. And I agree, in those situations, we can always, and Abraham Hicks says this so often, is reach for that better feeling thought.
Yes.
Right? We can reach for the better feeling thought. You can make it a habit if you find yourself thinking thoughts that are not leading you towards your goal. You can start by saying something, oh, that's my old version. I lovingly allow those old thought processes to heal. And I'm thinking in a new way now, a new way that's more productive for me. And you can either go into that same line of thought with a new positive outlook, or just pivot and go to another area altogether. If you still feel you're having resistance, I don't suggest, if you're if you're really struggling with money thoughts and it's really in your craw, and you just say, that's my old version, had to worry about money thoughts. Those are my old thoughts. They formed themselves to try to keep me safe. And I love them because they're part of me, but they don't serve me in the best way. And no, it's not the best time to think, well, I can't wait to have $1 million. It doesn't, there's still resistance there, right? Mm-hmm. So just to look for pleasing things. In the line at the convenience store, I love, one of the things I love about this time-space reality, Carl, and I think about this a lot when I'm in lines, there's so much variety, right? There's a product for every person, for everything. Yeah. No matter what you like, no matter what scent you like, no matter what kind of candy you like, do you want a peanut, an almond, some coconut? There's something, And I'll just look around, and if I see people talking and having a nice conversation, I'll acknowledge that. I love seeing people in harmonious relationships. You get what you notice, you get what you think about. So if we set our intentions in the morning to, today I'm going to be more aware of the harmony around me. All of a sudden, these things are going to be more prevalent to you. Not that there might not be more of them happening around you, but your subconscious mind is now on the task of finding it. You set it on a little mission. When you set intention like that, today I'm going to notice the love around me more. And yes, perhaps more love is flowing to you. Or maybe you're just being more cognizant of the love that's always been there all along that maybe you were just overlooking. 2 birds cuddled up in a tree, a mom and daughter walking, these things are just going to jump out at you. Mm-hmm. A little brother hugging his sister, you'll just notice it. That's you noticing the love. That's your subconscious mind. That's your soul working together to say, hey, look, you wanted to see love. There it is. Look, there it is.
Wow, that is awesome. When I go I run outside almost every day of the year, and it's I don't wear earbuds, and it's my appreciation time. And I mean, I'm sure there's some people who've seen me running in the summertime, and I'm running by a bank of flowers. They go, "Thank you, flowers. Hi, birds. Hey, look at the squirrel over there." Oh my God, I love the sunshine, and I may as well be throwing rose petals while I'm running, but it's really, and it just lifts me up on that. But, I do have a couple of other questions I want to ask you. And you and I talk a lot about spirituality, and spirituality can mean a lot of different things to different people. I would like to hear what spirituality means to you, and how do you implement it into your life in a practical way?
Spirituality to me is an understanding of the laws that govern. All right. So all of these laws that work together. For me, it's an understanding that the oneness, the law of oneness, that we are all components of this big spectrum of things, down to the little tiniest protozoan, and the little micro and macroorganisms. We're all part of this. We're all in it together. We're all contributing to the collective. Spirituality to me is love. Practicing spirituality for me is an understanding that I'm an extension of source energy, that I'm a part of the source energy. Source is God, whatever feels right for you. The universe is always flowing to me and through me, right down to the core of the earth and right back up. And that I can consciously take my time to sit and ground love for my fellow creatures, everything big and small on this planet. Spirituality is being in touch with your inner being and understanding that you have a guidance system in you. The universal laws, all of them working together. Also tap into, Abraham Hicks talks about your guidance system, but it's all part of the universal laws. It's your intuition. Spirituality is about, to me, tapping into that intuition. That's God speaking to us, leading us, our Father, showing us the way to our heart's desires. Spirituality is acceptance and compassion and forgiveness. For me, it's not anything deeply ritualistic or doesn't have to be the same every day. And whatever works for somebody, I say right on. If praying the rosary every day makes you feel really connected to your spirit, it's spirituality is whatever within you ignites that feeling, when you get there, that feeling in your heart to be a person of just compassion and love, whatever tools you use to get there. Mm-hmm. That's spirituality. That's bringing it all together. And for me, I wake up in the morning, set my intentions, I take my shower and I sit down, and I like to work with frequencies. I know that there's vibrations flowing all around, so I like to pull them in for myself and for everybody else for the day. I pull some transmutation in for the rest of the planet, flip around some of the low vibes floating, kicking around down here. I like to pull in love for everyone. I like to think about my day working out for me. And sometimes I really like to get into it, and I like to think about all the things that are working out for me right now and how much fun it is. I play in my mind a little. I like a good hour to myself in the morning before I even leave my bedroom. I like that. And then I like to go up and hang out with my daughter and hear what she has to say, what she's grateful for. What are we going to do today? What kind of day is today going to be? But spirituality for me, it's about being connected to your spirit and finding your journey there, which is why we're all here. Mm-hmm. Finding our way to that. And then when you get there, just maintaining it and just being a beacon of light where you're needed.
Well, this is a very cool outlook. Thank you for that also. Now, this is a great time for me to ask the question that is the mission of this show that I started in 2018. Why now, with all the craziness happening in the world, why now, more than ever, do you think that the people of the world are awakening to all things enlightening, metaphysical, and spiritual?
Whew. So I'm gonna pull this away. Let me think about this. So I have this thing that I do. Carl and I, we met. I'm talking to the audience out there. We met because we both run intention setting groups. We both run Power of 8 intention setting groups based on Limit Kaggert's The Power of 8. And literally the power of deliberate thinking and your thoughts can heal for other people and heal your own life in the process. So I've been working with this fella, Matt Bellina, and we have groups for him.
I was going to ask
him.
Yep.
Yeah. And he was labeled, I just put it that way. He was labeled with ALS and decided that he didn't need to accept that. And I think that that's what's happening in the world today, Carl, is that people are looking around and saying, you know what? I don't have to accept this. You're being told to do this. You're told that this is the truth. We're realizing things that are being presented aren't accurate portrayals of things. You will see what you want to see in the world. You will see what you want to see in your own body. You will see what you want to see in your own life when you make that decision. And I think that people, I don't want to say it's coming from a place of frustration, but I think it might be. I think that there might be just a lot of people that are maybe fed up with kind of being told what's happening in their lives and why it's happening. And what I can tell you is there are higher levels of energy being grounded into this planet. We have strong spiritual beings here right now that are grounding energy. Here's where I start to sound a little woo-woo. They're grounding energy, and that energy is that when those people are having those aha moments, when people like Matt Bellina are saying, I don't have to accept this, well, are having these awakenings, that energy is sparking in people. I think it's sparking. I think the truth can't be hidden. I think that it's been here all along.
Yeah. Wow. And I think you're right. I think that people, most of human history, people have been told what they could do, what they weren't allowed to do, and a lot of suffering and pain throughout all of human history. And now, and of course, technology and the internet allows people, no matter where they are in the world, to connect other people. They're starting to see the light in other people. And so finally, I think you're absolutely right. People are finally saying, man, there has got to be something better than this. There is
right.
better than
And
this.
I never thought of it like that, Carl. Like the fact that more people can connect and share these ideas like that, because and that's the one thing people say, well, I'm not huge on social media, but for every bad thing, I believe that there are good things. And I think that for as many people, for all the opportunities there are to see negative things, there are opportunities for people to shine light, to call forth truth, to connect in a different way. And so technology definitely has its blessings, definitely has its strengths, and is definitely playing a huge role. You have to, even, some people don't like YouTube, they have things and opinions about it, but there are thousands of truth teachers out there. There are videos after videos after videos of awakening, and you will be led to what you are meant to see. That's what happened with me. I quit my job. I quit my job and I went on YouTube and started learning how to meditate. And then I found Abraham Hicks, and then I found Dr. Joe Dispenza, and then I found Connie Mendez. And it was when I was ready for the next thing and ready for the next thing and ready for the next thing, they all just started to show up, right? All the material's there for us. And we have more people putting that material out there. It's accessible. Well said, friend. And I agree.
I think that I'm a good example of that, because my personal circle of friends, almost nobody is into what I am, this type of talk that we're doing, but I love them. And I do all the friendship things and I love doing it. But because of my connection through the internet, I now have light worker friends in Oslo and in London and in Perth, Australia, and Auckland, New Zealand, and Austria, and New Jersey, and you name it, Canada, all over the world. I'm now connected with people I would never have been able to without this technology. And that is part of the awakening, at least for me.
No, I agree.
Wow. So we've had some amazing, man, can we talk another 8 hours? But
anytime. This was so fun.
Yeah. Well,
we're
going to wind up in just a few minutes here. I do want to ask this. I'm really, and I've joined you on one of your healing sessions for the Matt Bellina experiment. Can you tell people how they can connect with you and help you with the Matt Bellina experiment?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I'm sure you'd be able to link it to this video. We have a website up where you can learn about Matt's story. Matt's showing tremendous improvement. By the way, we started this mission a few months ago. He's increasing mobility, things that aren't typically possible when someone is labeled with ALS. He's doing. But why Matt and I came together with a friend of ours to put this together is because when he does this not for himself, right? To kind of backtrack a little bit and help you understand the concept. When you focus your intention or visualize or pray, I have several different types of groups we run. Some are Christian based where we pull some scripture into it. Some are just strictly visualization. I send you, when you go on the website, there are tools and different videos of the best ways to visualize. There's some different guidance to help you through it. But when you visualize for another person and you tap to that emotion of we'll call it wish fulfilled, or of the end result, when you're seeing Matt throwing a baseball to his child and you're tapping into that joyful expectancy, you're feeling that vibration, you're feeling that miracle happen. Well, law of attraction is still working. It didn't stop working because you sat down to do a visualization for someone else. It's still responding to the fact that you're vibrating to joy. You're vibrating to miracle expectancy. You're vibrating to happiness. You're vibrating to it. And you're feeling this. The deeper, the more you do it, you're feeling it. You're feeling good. This is emanating off of you. You're a magnet. It's coming back. Mm-hmm. So what Lynn McTaggart found was that people who were participating in these sessions were arthritis was healing, marriages were being saved, joyful things were happening in the participants. And I'll tell you why. And if you're someone who's out there, you're listening, and maybe you're dealing with an illness of your own, you don't know, or some life situations that feel overwhelming, go and jump on a Power 8 for someone else. Because when you're feeling a miracle for somebody, you don't have any limited belief system circling around that. You don't have any issues. A lot of times, there's some work to be done when we start becoming deliberate creators in our lives, and we really look at what showed up. Or it could be worthiness issues, or childhood abuse, things that are still blocking you, safety. We keep ourselves limited. We're limited. But when you're thinking about somebody else, you're not thinking about why that miracle isn't possible for them. You're believing in that miracle. And the miracle is just as possible for you. And as long as you're vibrating to it, it's coming to your life as well. So that's why we're so passionate about this. But we give you all the tools. There's a welcome video on there. It tells you all about Matt and how it all works. We run several groups a week. Love to see new people on there. Yeah.
Well, and just in case some of the viewers and listeners aren't familiar with Lynn McTaggart, she has a book called The Power of 8, and she released this about a year and a half ago. And she did extensive research with control groups and study groups when the basic concept is when 8 or more people come together, whether it's live or virtually, and focus their healing intentions and energies and prayers. It could be on a person, place, or thing, and she's done that for all. That miraculous healing can happen, not, as you said, not only for the intended receiver of the healing, but also the people doing the healing. There's something called a rebound effect. And I have found that myself since I started my Power of 8 Facebook group. It's a private group. You can ask to join if you want to jump in. I probably am in a more peaceful place than I've ever been in my entire life right now. And I contribute that to the rebound effect from doing my healing intentions for others.
And just understanding universal law, it makes sense, doesn't it? Like when you think about it like that, you're vibrating to it. You're pulling that piece, and it's in a more magnitude. There's more people joining into that vibration at the same time. You're focused on it. You're thinking about it, and it's bound to come back to you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are talking to Eleni Yiambilis, and she is an amazing, amazing coach. I have to say that you produce some amazing motivational, inspirational videos yourself. I think I've watched, you don't have a ton of them up, but you have a YouTube channel called The Prayer Priestess.
Prayer Priestess, yeah. I love making videos. I do, and I've always thought about it. It's kind of always in this thing I felt a little nervous about. But I was just like, I love this. I love talking about truth. I love sharing this information with people. So I make videos for fun. I put them up on Prayer Priestess. Well, check out some of the videos. I think I offer for skills that have come in my awakening. Like when I have these aha moments, I'm like, I got to make a video about this. Because when people think about it like this, it's just, sometimes when you hear it said a different way, it can make a lot of sense. And really my goal in life through my programs, through videos, through everything I do is help people realize that they don't have to settle in any area of life. If one area of life is great, it doesn't mean that another one has to be lacking. It's like, well, I've got really good health. I should just be thankful for that. No, you should have everything. You should. It is your birthright to be happy, healthy, prosperous, to have all the things that you desire. And I just want to help people understand how to get there, how to leave behind the limited belief systems, and then fast track their way there.
And when I watched your recent video on, I believe it was Healing the World, I literally, by the end of the video, my jaw was just going, wow, that was great.
Thank you.
It really was. And seriously, check out her YouTube channel called Prayer Priestess. I love that. That is great. So, but you got to put up more videos. We need more of you up there.
The world needs more energy.
Yeah. Well, let's let people know how they can connect with you. Your Kalyteros.life website, and also your social media channels. Can people? Is your email up there? Or is there any way people can?
Definitely. I mean, when you go to Kalyteros.life, there are ways to contact me through there. We are on Facebook, the Matt Bellina Experiment. Again, there'll be links on there. There are ways to contact me through there for that venture. That also has a private Facebook group. And my contact information is available up there for anyone. Kalyteros.life is where you're going to find our two courses. We have a builder block course, which is kind of to help you clean the closet, get rid of the trauma baggage and really kind of start to play with deliberate creating. And then there's the master course. If you want to be a deliberate powerhouse creator of your own life, understand the universal laws, and I assure you that every bit of your life will change. It's 42 days, 42 videos, 42 Eleni videos, 42 downloads to help you all through the process. But yeah, check out Matt Bellina Experiment and Kalyteros, and there's ways to get a hold of me there. I'd love to hear from you.
I love what that statement you just said, a powerhouse deliberate creator. And that is what Eleni is. You really are. And you've been, I mean, I've only known you for a couple months, and you are a powerhouse influence on me with your beautiful attitude and intentions. And I'm so grateful.
Oh, I'm grateful too. I just, there are no mistakes when the universe connects people. And, that when people are meant to, the awakening is happening, right? And the people will link up. Like, what were those you remember those magnets that were like little marbles that would join up, like when you were a kid? Did you ever have them, the little magnet marbles?
I just saw some the other day like that. Yeah.
Stop it. I haven't seen them in years. But that's it. We're all coming together. We're coming together. And the beautiful thing is, when we're all vibrating all that joy, feeding off of each other and getting, we're empowering each other to feel good. We're bringing that vibration into the collective. And inspiring. So all of you out there, I hope you're feeling really good listening to our chat, because I'm feeling really good too. I was excited. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me here. I'm just so grateful.
Yeah. Attracts like. That's it. All right. Thank you, Eleni. Just amazing things. And I know the world is going to gain so much from watching and listening to what you had to say today. Namaste, my friend. Namaste.
See ya. Eleni, out.
Peace out.
Bye.
This has been another episode of World Awakenings, the fast track to enlightenment with your host, Karl Gruber, a certified Law of Attraction life coach. We welcome you to tune in each and every episode of this podcast, World Awakenings, as we open your mind, your heart, and your eyes to the fact that all the world's population is now, more than ever, awakening to the truth of all things metaphysical and spiritual, and just how they play an all-important role in our moment-to-moment everyday life. Much love and light to you, my friend. Thank you for tuning in.